Hellos. So, it's time we finished talking about these, sadly, but at the same time, I don't think this is going to be the end of these, because why would they stop releasing KEYZ, the most important part of this toy line, in July? Especially with all the Six Ranger stuff starting to come out, and Six Ranger popularity is going to start going up. So I don't know. We'll see. We're getting some more keys that we originally weren't going to get, supposedly, because Robo Knight is coming with the spear. And there was a thing that came out today showing that Quantum Ranger and Time Pink and Overdrive Yellow and Pink will be coming out with something. And then Mighty Morphin Yellow Pink, Megaforce Yellow Pink, and Samurai Yellow and Pink are going to be coming out with a Morpher re-release, which is going to have the 5 main core rangers of Mighty Morphin, Samurai, Megaforce, and Super Megaforce. So we're getting more than the 60 keys that they promised us. So my hope's still up that we're going to be getting more. But I managed to find these at a Target 75 miles north, because that's where all the good stores in the state are. Can't find anything of relevancy in the area I live in, so I have to go up near Birmingham to find everything. So, the first one we have is the second Super Mega Force key pack, and if you look closely, he's wearing the Dragon Shield instead. Mighty Morphin Key Pack B, Alien Rangers with Orko. If you look at the logo closely, the Mighty Morphin part is blacked out. They glitched up the symbol. I don't know why. Dino Thunder with Connor. There's a logo there. This is a contest that they've got. If you scan a key in the app, you could win a chance to do some voiceovers in Dino Charge. That's all that's for. So if you're interested, I mean, it's an easy contest to enter. Hair stuck to the back of this. I still got the tape. Ugh. But I had to get them for completion's sake. KEYZ for Jungle Fury. And then Sky for RPM. So we officially have one for every team. So like usual, let's go in chronological order. Starting with MMPR Key Pack 2. I don't have my little zoom in thing. Controls. Ha! No. Alright. So here is... Part of me wants to think this makes the keys look worse. I wish this thing had focus. But here is Armored Red Ranger, which this key bugs me because this is the kind of key that you'd think would be a con exclusive. But it's not. So let me cover up the light a little bit because the gold is too reflective. There you go. That's not covering up what I want it to cover up. Screw it. You can see the details for the, there we go, for the Dragon Shield are a bit weird. It's just like little spiky lines and everything, but the helmet is the same as the Red Ranger from the key pack and everything. So it's just a neat addition key. I think it's cooler than the metallic Super Mega one that we got in the second key pack with them, because at least this is different, and it's unique to Power Rangers because there's never an armored Tyranno Ranger key in the Sentai line. So it's still got the same old Mighty Morphin Zoo Ranger medallion on the key sticker. And here's Green Ranger. Same shield paint and everything on him. The helmet is pretty good. It's got the little crown, it's the stripes on it. It's not painted silver, obviously, or else people would have started burning cars in Los Angeles. It's not that big of a deal, people. I actually kind of prefer the silver stripe on his helmet when it comes to Power Rangers. When it comes to Sentai, leave it alone. But when it comes to Power Rangers, I actually prefer the silver stripe. So, his helmet actually looks pretty good, but it has the same problem as the Red Ranger keys that the mouth isn't painted white. But a cool thing with this key and the next key I'm going to show you is it doesn't have the Zoo Ranger medallion inside. It has the green Ranger, the dragon symbol on the sticker instead of the Zoo Ranger medallion. It has the green. I don't know if this will help any. A little bit. Which I actually really like that they did that. They put the green Ranger dragon coin symbol on a sticker instead, so it was pretty cool. And now for my favorite key in this set, White Ranger. Only because we don't have a key this color yet. And its details are actually really good. It's definitely white, that's for sure. You really can't see the details on the helmet very well, but it has the eyebrows on like above the helmet. It's got the dragon, I mean the white tiger symbol here. It's got the gold on the shoulders and everything. It looks really nice just on the shelf in general because it's the only white key we have. And then the white tiger symbol on the inside. You can't see it very well. I hate that this camera is so fuzzy. But yeah, it's an interesting set. I mean, the inclusion of the armored white Red Ranger key kind of annoys me a little bit, just because I think this should be a con exclusive key, but it's still pretty cool. But I mean, it comes with Tommy's two first Ranger forms, so you know it's gonna be a hard set to get in general just because of these two. I've actually heard a lot of people ordering every key set off of Amazon except for this one, because apparently this one keeps selling out for these two, obviously. But, you know, I actually like the set because these are two of my favorite Ranger suits in all of Sentai slash Power Rangers, and this key just looks nice with the rest of them because we don't have a White Ranger key, and it's actually really good. This is the best of the three, without question. Plus, with these two having their respective symbols as the symbol inside the sticker instead of the medallion is actually really cool. So it makes these two keys really stand out from the rest. Now to probably the biggest letdown, the Alien Rangers. Here's Orko. Sadly, this set did not come with Delphine, you know, the leader of the aliens. So much for Bandai of America saying that they put in Rangers that defined each season or team. Well, let's not even put the leader here. Really simple suit designs. I mean, the aliens slash Kaku Rangers suits weren't that advanced. I mean, it's got the symbol on their chest. Nothing too fancy. But you won't be able to see it on here. But you know how they always have like that little shape on the gold above their visors? Like each ranger had a different shape on it. They actually have the correct shapes on the gold up there. So probably the most detailed part of these suits is actually present. So for how simple these suits are, even still, they look really good. So now disappointment number one for these keys. If I were to flip. Zoo Ranger Medallion. Let's don't even use the Kaku Ranger symbol. They put the Zoo Ranger Mighty Morphin symbol on the sticker of these. That bugs me a lot more than it should. But it doesn't bug me as much as my next problem with these keys, and I'll get to those in a little bit. So here is, I forgot his name. I don't remember his name or black or yellow. But this is weird because we only have another key, Blue Ranger key, this shade, and it's Tori's from Ninja Storm. So this shade of blue really sticks out. He has the square on the gold above his thing. Pretty cool. Again, Zoo Ranger medallion. Shade of blue just looks weird. on a key compared to when you set it next to the other blues, which are really dark, and then you've got the one that's just. And here's black. Good little attention to detail, putting the white symbol in there, and he has this. Is that a circle? That looks like a pentagon. I don't know what his shape is. So you flip him. Kaboom. Once again. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with the alien keys per se in terms of details, because they're simple suit designs and they got all the little detail, the thing on the gold up there, right? But the fact that they have the Zoo Ranger medallion and their sticker on the inside and their sound, which I'll show you in a little bit, they're kind of a letdown. I mean, I'm glad that they're not completely forgetting the aliens. It's just that when they do bring the aliens into something, they kind of give them the shaft. Because they did get cards, but they read Mighty Morph in the Gosei Morpher. They do the same in this. They do the same in this. But I'll show you why that bugs me even more than it would the Gosei Morpher. So now on to Dino Thunder. And I've already shown this key off before with the Q-Rex, but it's different. One thing that my brother pointed out is that the one that came with the Q-Rex had another gold band on the top of his arm up here, which I don't think is supposed to be there. But aside from that, the white on his visor is thicker, so it stands out more. So I actually prefer this one. The Dino Thunder keys are actually really nice, mostly because the Dino Thunder suits aren't that complex to begin with. So there's the inside of that. I really like this key though. Now for Ethan, Dino Blue, really good. Goofy looking visor as usual. The only real detailed thing that these suits have are the visors, and they actually got it right. I want to say the little horns on his helmet are supposed to be white or silver, but they didn't paint them like they did Billy's key for Mighty Morphin. So that's obviously they tried more with the Mighty Morphin keys, kind of. Except for green and white, Red Ranger, because they never paint the white on the mouth, which still bugs me. And for the one key in this set that bugs me, I wanted Kira. I wanted the main three. No, here, have the last Tommy key you're going to need. I mean, I can understand it. Give us every Tommy key and everything, but it bugs me because Dino Thunder, Jungle Fury, and RPM were teams that start off with 3. Well, Ninja Storm start off with 3. Dino Thunder is the only one that doesn't give us all of the original 3 because of this. I'm not saying that the key looks bad because the helmet's there. It's got the red line on the front of this. It's got the gold paint surrounding the mouth, and it looks really good. It's just that I rather would have had Kira. So this is the last Tommy Ranger key that we have. So we now have every Tommy Ranger. Let that be a good or a bad thing depending on how you view Jason David Frank right now. So they look good. They really do. Simple suits, but I'm a big fan of Dino Thunder, so I'm okay with these keys. I like them. So looking forward to them. This key bugs me a little bit with its inclusion, but I'm not going to complain because its helmet is nice. The gold paint on the mouth, on the visor looks really sweet. So I'll let it get away. Plus, I just like how Black Ranger keys look. I don't know what it is about the Black Ranger keys, but they just look slick. If you know what I'm talking about. If you've been collecting the keys like me, then you should understand what I mean. That the Black Ranger keys just look slick. They just look clean compared to the others. I don't know why that is, but now on to the worst season ever. But I'm not going to let my biases on Overdrive affect my opinion on these keys, because in all honesty, the Overdrive keys did turn out really good. The visor looks nice, because the demo pictures we saw of these keys, the visors for the Overdrive Rangers look really bad. And then I actually got them and they looked really good. I mean, this is spot on. The logo on the chest is big. I think it's bigger than it's supposed to be, but it's right. Got the silver on the shoulders. The white doesn't look too thick or too thin going down the front, which is, if you look at the Boken Red figure art, I think the design of the suit just doesn't work well on a toy, but they managed to make it look pretty good here. So Max Key actually looks pretty good inside of the Overdrive Red key. Now here's Dax. Got the scrunched up visor like it's supposed to, but the silver paint and the gold paint actually is really reflective, as you kind of saw when I was holding him up. It's not that way for the rest of them, but the gold paint just sparkles. And it's the same here with the little bit of silver on his shoulders and on the logo and everything. It just shines. And I do like that, and I'm actually looking forward to Super Mega Silver's key for that alone. Still haven't found the Morpher yet, even though I've heard it looks, even though everybody's complaining about how bad it is, I'm still going to get it because I want that key. So here's Will. And once again, going back to what I said about Black Ranger keys, it looks really slick and clean. I like it. His helmet's spot on. So, even though I hate this season with a burning passion, the keys actually turned out really, really well. Because I do like the Bokenger Overdrive costumes a lot. And I won't lie, like I said this when I was talking about the Wave 2 keys with Turbo. I hate Turbo, but the keys looked amazing. I hate this season more than I hate a lot of things in general, but the keys turned out really, really well. So, I mean, if you want these keys because, well, collector's sake, then don't be afraid. If you're collecting these keys because you like Overdrive, then I've got some questions for you. So on to Jungle Fury. And these were actually some keys I was looking forward to because I do have a soft spot for this season, even though it's not particularly one of my favorites. I just have a soft spot for the season because no one really talks about it. So here's KEYZ. It looks good. His visor, I think, is a bit too scrunched up looking, but they got the symbol on the chest. They got the stripes. The little black on their arms go down enough to where... No, it doesn't actually. I thought it would go down onto their hands a little bit to indicate the gloves. They just look weird because they don't have a boot design here, so they just look weird. But he's got all the tiger details. He doesn't have the black on the little things on his forehead though. But all in all, the key doesn't look too bad. Yes, the symbol's in there. It's just black with a white outline. Now to Theo, who, when I talk about Jungle Fury later, I'll say is probably, in my opinion, the most underrated blue we've ever had. And you see his stripes are different because he's supposed to be a Jaguar, so they're a bit more boxy looking. His helmet's good. You can't really see it on this camera because it sucks, and keep apologizing about that. And then to Lily. They didn't give her the skirt line, but it still looks good. I think the visor eyes are still a bit too fat looking, but it works. Still definitely looks like Lily's costume. So, I mean, the Jungle Fury keys aren't perfect by any means, but I mean, they still look good. I mean, aside from the little black visory parts on their forehead not being painted in, they look pretty good. Once again, real simple suit designs. They just look different because they don't have any white on them at all. And that's kind of a rarity for suits, is to not have any white or silver or anything on them. So they just look cool standing on a shelf together. And now time for my personal losers of this wave, and that's RPM. and which stinks because I know a lot of people really like RPM for some reason. But these keys, in all honesty, just turned out awful to me. So let's start off with Scott. And one of the things, well, if you can't see it here, is that the wheels aren't painted silver on the side of their helmet. That's problem one. Problem two, the little bird beak on the side of his helmet isn't really sticking out much. Three, the black for his visor is off center, and it doesn't fill up the entire triangle outline that they gave him. So it looks like his visor is too small, because the triangle goes all the way out to the side of his head, but the actual paint doesn't. And on top of that, it's not even I'm stuck in my throat already. It's not painted around. I mean, that's a problem with a lot of keys, but it just looks really strange here. And on top of that, the silver for like the headlights on his helmet aren't painted right. Like, they're not even with one another. But I mean, the logo on the one on his chest is good. The seat belts look good. They didn't put black on his wrists for like the wheels, because you know they're supposed to have tires on their wrists. Those weren't painted as black, but they're painted black down here. So this one's actually missing a lot of detail. But trust me, this isn't the worst of the RPM keys. That's for dang sure. He just looks really derpy. I mean, the Go On Your logo and everything is painted. It's just, I mean, on there, it's just not painted. Now for Flynn, who I honestly believe is the best looking of the three. He has the same problems. No painted wheels, no painted yellow stripes on the helmet. The visor looks fine. It's just not outlined. The two looks good. The belts look good. He's probably the best one. He still doesn't have the black on his wrists, though, which bugs me a little bit, because that's kind of an important part of their suits. And now, for the key that I consider the worst out of this entire wave, Summer. That visor's not even right. First of all, it's supposed to be an oval. This looks like almost like a speech bubble, because there's a little dip at the very bottom here. It kind of like dips downward. Wheels aren't painted. The little headlights things on her helmet look like they're too big. This looks awful. The three on her chest is really good. You can't really see it too well because it's gold painted on yellow. But I saw this key and her left arm has a hard time moving. Like, it gets stuck. I don't know. So, I mean, sad to say, because I actually do like these suits. These are the loser in terms of paint details of this wave. Mostly because, I mean, I was disappointed because other teams with nicely detailed helmets like Lost Galaxy and Mighty Morphin and Turbo and Megaforce, for that matter, were actually done really well and they looked spot on. These, on the other hand, were handled really poorly and they just look awful and derpy. I mean, if you still like RPM, I'd get them just because it's RPM, and if you like it, you like it. But these are probably one of the weakest teams, detail-wise, in terms of aesthetics. Now on to the fun part. I'm going to use White Ranger, just because I want you to see what a White Ranger key looks like in the Morpher. And another good thing, they don't do this. But before I turn the key, I'm going to head and call Wave 2, which is like Space, Time Force, SPD, Ninja Storm, all those keys from that wave, the losers, because they have so many hinge problems. I know a lot of people are complaining like their Space and Time Force and SPD keys, some of them wouldn't close all the way. I haven't had that problem with these Wave 4, because Wave 3 was just the second Super Mega Force pack. I haven't had that problem with any of these keys, not to that extent. They don't have a hard time going in the Morpher like those did. And because of the loose joints, I've already got two keys that won't stay closed in Ranger form. My Time Force Blue and Turbo Blue keys will not close and stand in Ranger form anymore. So I've got them just folded up, sitting over there with the rest of my others. I'm going to have all the reds lined up back here, but all my others are over there. And my Time Force Blue and Turbo Blue will not stay closed anymore. So I've got two keys that are essentially, I wouldn't say broken, but it's kind of hard to display keys when you have two that won't stand up with the others. And I haven't had that problem with Wave 1 or Wave 2 key, or Wave 4. So I consider the Wave 2 keys to be the worst because they had a lot of weird paint splotches. They don't close all the way. They have a hard time going in and out of the morpher. They were just a disaster, in my opinion. Which stinks too, because my 3 favorite seasons came from that wave. But whatever, they got that fixed. The little is fine. So, without further ado, and then I'm not going to turn the thing again because it's going to have the beep 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 like normal. So in order to get the alien sound, okay. So before I go into Dino Thunder, I want to talk about why this bugs me. The keys have these little holes in them. That's how the morpher reads what team it is and what sound to read off. These read off Mighty Morphin, okay? So do the Mighty Morphin keys. They're not the same at all. They're different. So there's Alien. Here's Mighty Morphin. So what I mean? The aliens have one less peg, but they make the same sound. What's the point of that? You could have easily had these say alien. Just add one more sound bite, because I mean, if it's a different key configuration, why make it play a sound that you've already got in the morpher? That's, I don't know. Now we've already heard this sound, but I'm going to do it again anyway. Time for the longest name team. He's my favorite Jungle Fury Ranger. And then last but not least, just because I was hating on Summer's key earlier, I'm going to use hers. I don't like how he says RPM, because he says SPD with each letter pronounced out, but here he sounds like he goes RPM. I think he's trying to say the PM part together. Just listen. Plus his tone is really weird. So yeah, that's supposedly the last wave of Ranger keys for the Power Rangers line, and I'm not particularly buying it because I just think there are going to be more. I mean, it's July, and the 6th range silver was just introduced. The silver stuff is coming out. We're going to start to see more and more of the 6th Rangers. I just feel that we're going to get at least one more key pack wave with some 6th Rangers and the gold anchor key, because there is a slot on the bottom of Silver's morpher for the gold anchor key. So I'm expecting at least one more wave, but we'll find out. I mean, it's July. We still got a couple months before Super Mega Force ends and the toy line comes to an end and everything. So we'll find out. Comic-Con might give us some info. Power Morphicon might give us some info. But until then, got any questions about these, go ahead and ask. I believe Target is the only place that has them right now in stores if you want to go have a place to look, because Amazon keeps restocking and selling right back out like within hours. So test your luck somewhere. So